So, as we are in Finland, it's worth noting that security supply is actually one of the things most emphasized in the defense policy. But then it's good also to remind that actually the foundation of Saab in 1937 was actually based upon security of supply. And actually Finland could also benefit from that because during the Winter War, when Finnish government purchased fighters, both Brewster and Fiat fighters from whatever they could get a hold on, they were actually assembled in the Saab's factories in Trollhättan before flown over to Finland. So even there was a link between Saab and Finland. Later on, after the war, Saab has turned into a full-fledged security and defense company with a large portfolio, actually all from submarines to fighters, but also with missiles, simulators, but also civilian products for airborne systems and others. And linked upon that, it's more than natural that for more than 70 years Saab has already been present in Finland and actually provided systems for the Finnish Defence Forces, high-tech systems, actually for all three services, for the Army, for the Navy, as well as the Air Force. But going actually to Saab in Finland today, during the last 5 years, we've grown steadily in Finland. We have almost doubled the numbers of employees, now already 130 Saab employees in Finland. And I think that by the end of the year we would have doubled it, as we are constantly now recruiting new skilled engineers. One reason also for the growth is that we have a strategic long-term cooperation with autat University, based both on advanced electronics, microwave technologies and others. But I also especially want to highlight our technology center in Tampere, already with more than 30 high-skilled engineers who are now already part of Saab's global research and development program. But also I can't miss that we also recently have been rather successful also in other tenders in Finland, especially the Squadron 2020 program, which is now in the design and building phase, which will ensure that Saab will be present in Finland or at least to 2060. In addition, last week the Finnish Navy had the first firings with the new Saab torpedoes, and also actually all Finnish conscripts are now using Saab simulators in their daily training.
We will today talk about our fighter, the Gripen, the latest version, Echo Foxtrot, as well as the Globaleye, the latest version of our airborne early warning and control system. And I am proud also to present and say that we will have both these aircraft here for those of you being live, and after this session we will also have a special possibility for our online viewers for some after talk and also to see these aircraft. Shall we continue with my presentation? Thank you. We have a long-term engagement in the HX program. We have been committed since many years back, and in January this year we took part in the HX challenge, the evaluation of the products in Finland, in Tampere, and we also submitted an updated proposal. We have a continuous and very good dialogue together with the Finnish Defence Forces, as well as the local industry here in Finland. And we are happy to be committed here And the HX program is a professionally run and well-structured program, and we're committed to support throughout the coming phases. The latest version of Gripen, the Echo for the single seat, the Foxtrot for the two-seat version, is something truly special. It is a product designed for the most challenging situations. It is a true multi-role fighter, designed to handle the broad variety of an Air Force different tasks and missions. It is designed for this very operational context that we see in our region, to handle the different threat systems and the situations. We have worked a lot to make sure we have the most recent technology on board. And, ladies and gentlemen, there is no later aircraft design within the fighter segment available on the market. We are doing a lot to make sure it's future-proofed, and I will later on talk about the design, especially the avionics system, making it possible for easy upgrades throughout the life cycle. We are well known for the cost efficiency. We put a lot of effort into making sure that we can optimize the operational effect out of any budget that a customer would spend. The program with the latest version was kicked off formally with the contracts together with Brazil and Sweden back in 2013-14. We're right now in full pace. The first flight was made back in 2017, and there we flew a fully qualified software load. And we are happy with the development. The system is showing stability and a very high degree of availability. We have been through the 9Gs and the max performance when it comes to supersonic speed, etc. And now we focus mainly our test activities to the sensors and weapon systems on board. We have 8 aircraft that we use in our test activities currently. And this year we will increase flight test operations to 3 sites, 2 in Sweden and 1 in Brazil. The deliveries to our customers were initiated last year already, and as we speed up deliveries from this year, we now also, in addition to Sweden, have 1 production plant up and running and operational in Brazil. For the Foxtrot version, the 2-seat, we are developing that closely together with the Brazilian partners, and we have the assembly that has started off, and in 2023 we will conduct the first flight. And this means that we are very well in line with the time schedule of the HX program here in Finland with the very latest version of Gripen. Something unique with the Echo Foxtrot version is that the pilot does not have to bother controlling each sensor individually anymore. Gripen provides a totally integrated sensor control system, and through this the pilot can define the volume of interest. It may be a square on the ground or at sea, or a box in the air, and all the available sensors on board will be used. Data fusion algorithms will make sure that the holistic picture and situational awareness is presented to the pilot. This means the pilot can concentrate on the missions and not controlling the technology on board. Several Gripens are also connecting together through an advanced data link system, fighter to fighter, so information is shared in between and presented, as you can see on this screen. On top of knowing where we are, situational awareness and excellent sensors, we need weapons on board a fighter, either for a deterrence effect or to make sure we have a tangible effect in the target. And in many situations, traditionally, when procuring a fighter from one country, you will end up also with weapons from that country. It's not always that you see the best available weapon of each and every type coming from the same country. we have taken the integrator approach to pick the very best weapons from the best manufacturers worldwide. We have a long heritage and tradition of integration. We do it swiftly and we do it in a cost-efficient way, and that means that we can offer the best total package. It is also worth to note that the life cycle of weapon systems are shorter than the whole life cycle of the platform of the aircraft. And that's why it is so important with flexibility, and that's a key word for us. We would like our pilots to get back alive and to be able to use our aircraft many times. And that is why electronic warfare is key. We're probably one of the most advanced electronic warfare systems for self-protection on board the Gripen. A number of different sensors detecting incoming hostile missiles, whether they be radar-guided or infrared heat-guided missiles. And we have dispenser systems to mislead these incoming missiles and make sure they are not hitting our aircraft. We have a spherical coverage, 360 degrees all around the aircraft. And on top of the self-protection, nowadays we tend to use more and more electronic warfare systems for active situations, jamming, disturbing our opponent. And that electronic attack type of capability is something that is part of our integrated on-board electronic warfare system. On top of all this, I would like to give you some further insights into an extensive electronic warfare offering that we have for the HX program. We are continuously broadening our portfolio and making advancements within electronic warfare, the key area for Saab. And breaking news for you today here is that within the HX offering, we have on top of the onboard system helping out in this situation to handle the threat situation with advanced hostile air defense systems. Also, a new lightweight air-launched decoy missile system, a new product that we are launching. And we started up the activities a number of years back. Today is the first time we are openly speaking about this. This is a system that will help to suppress the hostile air defense systems and preventing them to detect our own aircraft. Virtually what is happening is that these decoy missiles are launched from Gripen, and in a forward position they are actively jamming and disturbing the opponent, making a corridor for safe operations, both for our aircraft and for our missiles. This technology is leveraging on the steps taken, for instance, within the miniaturization within telecommunication industry. And I am happy to say that to a very large extent, the electronic warfare payload, meaning the electronics inside the decoy missile, is developed here in Finland at the very center, the technology center in Tampere you heard about before. And here we are combining the knowledge long-term within Sweden and Finland in microwave electronics. The latter can also be used to direct the attention of the enemy to somewhere else and acting as false targets. On top of this, in the package, we have also included the electronic attack jammer pod that we officially launched in 2017, and we are now in the flight test phase and initiated that last year. And this is yet another addition on top of the onboard system. It works to create this type of corridor, additional output power, as well as a broader frequency range. And in cooperation with the advanced electronic warfare system on board, we're able to integrate all these three elements into a holistic and extremely powerful electronic warfare system for electronic attack, and we think this is key to the operational situation in Finland. Sensors and weapons aside, it is important to look at how the system can perform in the everyday context. Gripen is built for harsh conditions and easy maintenance. It's built for road-based operations, and we do turnarounds at a very short time, less than 10 minutes, and we do a full turnaround with rearming, refueling for an air-to-air mission. And this is something extraordinary. If needed, we can change the engine within less than 1 hour. And as far as we know, this is extraordinary in the market and nobody else comes near. Furthermore, short take-off and landing capability. Over time, it is clear that we need to stay on top and make sure that we are operationally relevant. There are new threat systems coming up and developing, and we need to stay in pace with that. Traditionally in this market, we have seen midlife upgrades, where once or twice during the life cycle of the fighter, you tend to take a huge leap. At the same time, with the risk that you will have discrepancy and difference in between what your operational needs are and the performance you have in your system. With Gripen, we have from the early days of Alpha Bravo and Charlie Delta versions taken the approach of continuous updates, and that has been a very good way of making sure that we stay operationally relevant. However, with the latest version, Echo Foxtrot, we take this yet another step and making it very smooth to do quick updates, as we have separated the flight critical parts of the software from the mission related functions. And that is something that is truly building possibilities and flexibility for the future. In our offer, we have Gripen Echo and Gripen Foxtrot, as well as a lot of support systems, everything that is needed for the operations. We have an initial training package, simulators, ground support equipment, and as well an extensive weapons package. We have included services for the first years of operation for a smooth transition for the Finnish Air Force, at the same time as they are phasing out the old system. We have an industrial participation program, and also we suggest to build a system center for long-term capability, and all this is supporting security of supply. Globaleye is part of this package, providing a 24/7, very advanced airborne early warning and control, the strategic asset working for the enhanced situational awareness, hence for the territorial integrity of Finland. And together with the Echo Foxtrot fighters, we see that we have a combined package for the broad needs of the Finnish Defence Forces. Globaleye provides intelligence for all the domains, air, land and sea. Provides increased coverage in relation to ground-based radar systems, giving a lot of pre-warning time, and offloads the fighter fleet so that we know what is happening around us and we can get the fighters airborne when they really are needed. The mission time is above 11 hours, and we truly see that this is nothing we started yesterday. We have long history in mission aircraft of this type. We have a 60-year experience in the radar segment, and during 25 years we have been developing and producing airborne early warning and control systems. We have a broad customer base all around the world, and we are building on the 3 pillars within our company: knowledge as an aircraft manufacturer, as well as a sensor provider, and the area of command and control systems. I'll offer you some pedagogics why this is good. Well, This is a complement to ground-based radars. If you're up on a mast 100 meters above the Earth, you wouldn't see further than 40 kilometers out. And that means that low-flying incoming objects come very close before you detect them. However, with an airborne sensor, you can extend this reach up to 10 times. This is crucial, because what you're allowing is an additional pre-warning time of 20 minutes. It will help you to save your assets and make sure you are dispersed and ready. The reach of Globaleye is amazing. Not only the radar, but also the other sensors on board. We'll see out to 550 kilometers. And even for low-flying objects, we see everything happening down to the Earth, out to the distance of 450 kilometers. And this is what works for and provides the pre-warning time. A strategic asset for Finland. This is what Globaleye is bringing into our HX offering. Multi-role intelligence for the whole Finnish Defence Forces, balancing the potential adversaries type of systems and capabilities. And it secures over time the optimal use of all the assets we have. Globaleye and Gripen are easily integratable into the Finnish Defence Forces infrastructures. We have conducted a lot of site service and studies on this, and we see that most of the facilities and maintenance can be used with very small or minor adaptations. And no additional burden is on noise levels or environmental conditions, and they are fully interoperable with both NATO infrastructures, networks, as well as connectable to the Finnish command and control systems. Not to forget, of course, we can use the road-based concept already existing in Finland today. Security of supply we heard about in the beginning. This is key to Finland, and what we do is that we set an offer to increase and maximize the availability. And that we do through an extensive support solution. We base it on capabilities existing today and work very closely with local industry. But we also take security of supply to yet another level, where we make sure that we create the possibilities so that we could keep the operational relevance over time. And this is through the establishment of a center in country that can work with continuous development and sustainment aspects. Industrial participation is one way of building security of supply. We have an extensive package here, and for the availability we include and involve Finnish industry into the program, into among others, the parts production, as well as manufacturing and assembly of engines and aircraft here locally in Finland. This is building the capabilities needed for the 30-year long-term operation, hence building security of supply. For the operational relevance, we make sure to involve industry from Finland in the establishment phase, the setup and the continuous operation of this system center. We also involve Finnish industry to take part in some of the development we do for Finland-specific functionality. There are a number of indirect programs also, targeting the areas that have been defined by the Finnish Defence Forces as key capability areas for the future. And all in all, we have more than 100 industrial participation programs in our package. We're truly proud, not only we have the toolbox here, but also the mindset and long traditions of working closely with industry. Affordability is key, and we have seen that there is now a proposition in Finland from the government of a budget of 9.4 billion for the acquisition. plus the internal cost within the Air Force to do facility adaptations and so on. Our package stays within these boundaries, and also we're proud to see that what we offer can be operated in a good way to the same level of cost as the systems of today. And this will probably be clarified as also a clear figure in the coming stages and phases of the HX program. The design, furthermore, that I talked about before is yet another thing that works for a long-term cost efficiency. Upgrades can be done without taking too much burden on the operator's budget. Important is to make sure we show the capabilities of our systems to the customer. And the HX challenge was one important step where we participated early this year with Gripen Echo and Globaleye at the Pirkkala Air Base in Tampere here in Finland. We're happy with the outcome. We are continuously supporting the customer, and there will be yet some activities throughout this year on data substantiation and evaluations. Thank you.
Thank you, Magnus. And as you noticed, going live on an air show sometimes could bring additional noise, but as the noise level here now is lower, so now it's time to give the floor to our CEO, Mikael Johansson in Stockholm. Please.
Thank you, Anders, for the introduction again. And also thank you, Magnus, for an excellent presentation. I also want to thank the Finnish Aeronautical Association for giving Saab the opportunity to participate in this great tradition that the Finnish air shows has developed into. And I'm very pleased that Saab is represented in Kauhava today with our two latest systems, the fighter jet Gripen E and our airborne early warning and control solution Globaleye. As you know, Saab has a long history building world-class fighter aircrafts, and since 1937 we have delivered more than 4,000 aircrafts serving in air forces in many countries. Our very origins are rooted in ensuring that national sovereignty is well defended. And we remain aware of that countries depend on Saab and our products to maintain their security and keep them safe. And we do this through our commitment to them for the long term, and by doing what we do in a smarter and more efficient way. Over time, as you've heard, we've expanded our product portfolio, and we are now one of few defense industries with a true broad offering covering all three domains, air, land and sea. And Saab has a long history in Finland, and we are committed, of course, to an even longer future together now. And we are proud to supply the Finnish Navy with a new lightweight torpedo 47 and advanced combat systems for the Squadron 2000 and the Squadron 2020 programs. And as mentioned, Saab's Technology Center in Tampere, with more than 30 engineers with world-class competence, is an integral part of our global product development in areas such as electronic warfare, which is a core area to Saab. Today we present additional features, as you've heard, to the Gripen EF offering to the Finnish HX program in the electronic warfare area. And among others, the fighter jet will now be equipped with an advanced standing jamming capability and with a new decoy missile system, which is a great step. Important parts of these capabilities are developed in our center in Tampere, and we are constantly recruiting more engineers in Finland, as we have identified Finland as one of the countries with the best availability of skilled engineers. We invest heavily in R&D in various areas in Finland, and especially we have a dedicated focus on the relationship with the Aalto University, as has been mentioned. And we are now cooperating in 10 research projects in the microwave technologies area, involving 30 people of professors, industrial PhDs, doctoral and master science of students, as well as senior scientists. Our solid presence in Finland is a very good base from which to establish a local ecosystem that will support Gripen and Globaleye in operation, ensuring security of supply throughout the entire life cycle. As you are aware of, Saab's offering for the Finnish HX program comprises of both Gripen EF and Globaleye. And the Gripen EF is on the path now to deliver a world-class system in the most cost-effective manner to Sweden and Brazil. And overall, we see a strong market interest in the Gripen, both the Gripen CD, but also the Gripen EF. And just recently, we handed in an offer to Canada comprising of 88 fighter jets. But as you all know, I mean, a great fighter does not alone make a great combat air system. Our airborne early warning and control system, the Globaleye, is the world's most advanced surveillance aircraft. Customer deliveries are ongoing, and we see a strong market interest worldwide. And combining Gripen EF and Globaleye as a force multiplier will definitely protect Finland's people and borders in a solid way, and will constitute a comprehensive situational awareness, as you saw, and a true deterrence effect. The common thread in developing such innovative solutions as these two aircrafts are is that we continuously invest in our people and technology. Annually, Saab spends about 25% of our revenue on research and development, and it is by being at the leading edge and making the investments in future technologies and programs that we are able to ensure that our customers' long-term security interests are upheld. Recently, Saab announced that we are committing to the Future Combat Air Systems program, together with the governments and industries of the UK and Italy. A strong joint partnership around Future Combat Air System will guarantee Gripen EF access to new technology and capabilities going forward, and ensure that Gripen is defending our two countries way out to 2060. Existing and future Gripen customers should see the FCAS program as a seal of approval as we, together, safeguard continuous fighter development within our company. The Finnish-Swedish defense cooperation is deepening. Just recently, our government signed a bill on operational military support between our countries. This rapprochement is of great importance for the security of both nations, citizens and the protection of their borders, and is welcomed by all of us. It is not to exaggerate to say that Finland and Sweden are sister countries, sharing a long history, and even though we compete fiercely against each other when it comes to ice hockey, we respect and honor and cheer for each other in every other way, and also I think when it comes to ice hockey. So just finally, let me wish you a great air show. I'm glad my colleagues and our aircrafts are with you today. A small measure of how important this relationship is to Saab and our future together. So again, thank you all for listening, and back to you, Anders.
Thank you, Mikael. And actually, following up on your last point of the cooperation, it's now a natural part to introduce Colonel Carl-Fredrik Edström, Chief Operations of Swedish Air Force, and presenting the Swedish perspective. Please.
Thank you, Anders. I will talk about our view as an Air Force on the Gripen system, and also the cooperation with the Finnish Air Force. Gripen has been operational in Swedish Air Force for about 25 years. And as Magnus mentioned already at the beginning, it has been designed for the harsh conditions in our area. And it has been able to deliver operational capability that are needed to operate against threats in our area of interest. The system has also been updated continuously to meet new needs and new threats. As an Air Force, we have had the opportunity to be an active part in this development. The close cooperation between Saab and Swedish Air Force is a guarantee for us to have a fighter aircraft system that can deliver the operational capabilities that are needed. This way of capability development will continue with the Gripen Echo and will guarantee a fighter system that will meet operation needs for the Swedish Air Force long into the future, beyond 2060. As I also mentioned, the Finnish and Swedish Air Force have a long tradition of cooperation that extends all the way back to the first flight from each Air Force. The intensity and scope have varied, but have never been as extensive as it is for the moment. The first Arctic fighter meet exercises were carried out between our air forces in 2003. Marks for me a restart of our cooperation between the air forces after the Cold War. Since then, the Swedish and Finnish Air Force has planned and conducted several national and international exercises. I mentioned Arctic fighter meet, cross-border training, Frisian flag, Iceland air meet, Arctic Ace challenge exercise, to mention some of them. As Finland now are on the way to acquiring a new fighter aircraft, they will build an even stronger air force. Our friendship and cooperation will not our friendship cooperation will in the Finnish Air Force as a professional and capable air force will remain regardless the choice of fighter aircraft. The most important thing is that we together can meet threats and create stability in the region in the future. Having said that, a Finnish selection of the Gripen Echo and the Finnish and Swedish acquisition of a common airborne early warning and control system will further strengthen the relations between our air forces and create new and unique possibilities for a long-term cooperation in the air combat arena. We are well aware that there are differences exist regarding respective countries' geostrategic situation and security policy. But we also share the same challenges imposed by common operating environment. And should both countries operate the same fighter aircraft and airborne early warning and control system, there are significant positive effects when it comes to cooperation. There is a proposed technical arrangement to the FISE Memorandum of Understanding regarding cooperation relating to a Finnish selection of the Gripen Echo system. We look forward to a continued and rewarding dialogue regarding this proposal with the aim to find a future cooperation providing as much benefit to both parties. There is a draft agreement on suggested cooperation covering capability and system development, operational capabilities, and enhanced training and logistics. I chose this picture to show that when it comes to development, this is nothing new for the Air Forces. This picture is 5 years ago, and it was Hornet did a certification for air refueling against the Swedish C-130. In this picture, we have the Swedish Air Force, the Finnish Air Force, the Swedish Defense Material Agency, and I think the Finnish also HX-hanke unit working together for a couple of weeks to get air type certification for aircraft. So this has been done during history in recent days. But the development strategies that will be a part of the proposed technical arrangement compromises, as Magnus told us, major system upgrade on a regular basis and minor updates due to user requirements in between. And this is, as a user for Gripen, you can really be a part of new, you have to have new needs, new operation capabilities, and you can do that fast together with Saab, and you can do it continuously. And this will also be a part of the Gripen Echo. If we get harmonized technical requirements, it could create the opportunity for configuration as similar as possible between Finland and Sweden. This in turn could reduce both Finland's and Sweden's total costs for development, production and maintenance of combat air system Gripen E over time. Some example for cooperations when it comes to new and developed capabilities. It could include, for example, developed capability to electronic warfare, both systems and know-how between our air forces, GPS, independent navigation and exchange of information, remotely controlled systems, long-distance precision strike in hypersonic weapons. When it comes to cooperation for operational capability, we can further deepening the ongoing work between our air forces and armed forces in this area. When it comes to cooperation regarding training and exercise, it could include, for example, initial training. Swedish Air Force could, as a subcontractor, do the initial training for the Finnish Air Force pilots. We can also have enhanced training in logistics, enhanced training of an example is operational test and evaluation, cooperation and activities. It's also possible for an extensive personal exchange program. You can see in front of us attaching Finnish Air Force personnel to the operational test and evaluation unit early on. The Swedish Armed Forces and the Swedish Air Force know that Finland expects a life cycle for the Ajax combat aircraft until 2060. We as the Air Force see this as an opportunity, as something positive. It will mean that the corresponding Swedish planning horizon will be established. This will, pending government decisions, create the conditions for a long-term and joint development plan for upgrade to the Gripen E combat air system and an airborne early warning and combat system in the time perspective from 2030 until 2060 and beyond. And some final points regardless Finland's choice of fighter aircraft. We as an Air Force look forward to a continued operation and in an increasingly uncertain future. A strong Finnish and Swedish Air Force will play a central role for the future stability in our region. Thank you, and back to you, Anders.
Thank you, Graf Fredrik. And before going to the question and answers period, I give the floor to Magnus Skogberg for some concluding remarks.
Thank you. Thank you, Anders. You have now heard about our operations and activities here in Finland. We have been provided with statements and perspectives from our CEO on Saab and how Saab is relating to and committed to Finland. You have heard about our offering and our products Gripen and Globaleye in the HX program, as well as the perspectives from the Swedish Air Force on bilateral cooperation between our two nations. And we will summarize this session now with some concluding logic. We see clearly that Gripen and Globaleye is a perfect match for Finland, and I will do my best to explain why we see this. First and foremost, Gripen is designed for the operational tasks and missions in this region to meet this type of threat system, and on top of that, designed for easy maintenance, operations at road bases throughout the country. Globaleye provides a very strong complement, bringing our offering to yet another strategic level with capabilities for the whole Finnish Defence Forces. We have talked about cost efficiency. Nobody beats us on this. And with cost efficiency, we translate that directly back into more operational capability for the money spent. Security of supply. is key in Finland, and we have a strong package through industrial participation and others. We have the toolbox, the mindset, and the long experience of delivering this. What we're doing in Brazil right now is a very good example of that. The timing is also very good. We heard about that Gripen is a proven and mature system in operational use since many years back. On top of that, we right now have available the latest version, the most advanced technology on board. With Globaleye, we have a long background in producing and delivering airborne early warning and control systems to our customers. Globaleye is right now providing the latest time available, well in time for the HX program. Last but not least, we have a long-term commitment to Finland and in Finland as a company, as we have explained throughout this session. And in a broader perspective, we also see and can follow the political ambition in both our countries for an even further deepened defense cooperation. And this, dear audience here and our online viewers, this provides a solid foundation for the long-term program and relationship the fighter acquisition is about. So this concludes and summarizes the logic we see why Finland should choose Gripen and Globaleye. And we hope that during this session, some of you have also now the possibility of sharing this logic and that you bring it with you. So that concludes the briefing, and it's now time for questions.
Thank you. Yes, there is a time for questions. We have received quite a few from our online audience, so thank you for them. You are welcome to continue posting your questions, stating your name and the media outlet you work for. We will, however, start with the audience here in Kauhava. So please raise your hand if you have a question, state your name and the company you work for, and you will get to pose a question to our class stage. Do we have any questions in the room? Yes, we do. Please go ahead, sir. You have a microphone.
Hi, I'm Janne Paunin from the Air Force Association, doing our paper. For the Swedish Air Force, a small question. Globaleye, any thoughts about getting the Argus replaced with that aircraft? And in the future, could there be a possibility to combine these things together with Finland and also the transport fleet?
We are in the beginning of the acquisition phase for replacing our current airborne early warning command system. So this could be a perfect match if Finland chooses to buy the Gripen Echo and the Globaleye. It could be a perfect match. But the decision is not taken from the Swedish Air Force, but we will start the acquisition phase for 2024-25.
Thank you. We will go to a question from the online. This is from Damien Kemp at Shepherd Media. Are there more details on the air-launched decoy missile system at this point? And what stage in development are we at?
The status right now, as explained, is that we have launched this work a number of years back, and the information we have shared today is what we are revealing and talking about. This is, for obvious reasons, an area where we are not able to disclose all the technical details and specifications, but we would be very happy to come back in specific sessions for experts on the area later on.
And the press release is released today.
That is correct. There is a press release that will be ready, if not now, very soon.
Is there any more questions in the room at this point? Or raise your hand if you want to ask a question. Yeah, we have one in the back, please.
Joonas Kuikka from London Media. Do you think that coronavirus situation, which will likely to be continue until 2021 when Finland makes its choice for next fighter, do you think it improves your chances of being selected, that you have a security of supply near to Finland?
I think that it would be to exaggerate to say that we would see a big difference. I think that we're all facing a challenging situation. We have been doing replanning and rescheduling together with the customer, and it is a pity that we are in this situation right now. I think at the same time that the closeness between Finland and Sweden is showing off when it comes to the possibilities of interactions also in this type of crisis situations with disturbance within our ordinary life.
Yes, please. One more from the
Tomi Hämäläinen from Epämuodikkaita ajatuksia. I was wondering what you, Magnus, pointed out about the onboard systems and electronic warfare capabilities. Does this come with the Raven radar, or are you referring to some kind of independent system from the radar?
We have a sophisticated electronic warfare system on board the Gripen, with a number of sensors, and also the radar is part of that network. That capability includes electronic attack. What we are doing with the complementing products, the air-launched decoy missile, as well as the electronic attack jammer pod, is that we increase the capability, we get an even broader frequency range and more output power. But yes, the part you mentioned is also forming part of the holistic package of an integrated electronic attack capability.
Yes, we will have time for one more question if there is anybody in the room. Then I will take one from the online. There is a question about weapons on the Gripen system. Can the Gripen be use American weapons?
The answer is very simple, yes. We have a long tradition of integrating weapons from all parts of the world, and we have integrated many US weapons during the years.
Thank you. And that sort of concludes our online session and our Q&A session. But I would urge our online audience to stay tuned for an after-talk session where we will get to see both the Gripen E and the Globaleye that are present here at the Kauhava Air Show. And I will also say that all presentations and the material, including pictures, will be available online afterwards. So please stay tuned, and thank you.